Good evening, you're listening to the News Roundup on Gold FM.
The top story on Gold FM.
Today marks 7 years since the coordinated strikes on 7 locations, the Easter Sunday attacks, including 3 churches, which resulted in over 260 deaths and left more than 500 people injured. Religious programs took place in churches across the island under heavy security to observe the anniversary, with a 2-minute silence observed at 8:45 am to honour the deceased. The main ceremony at Kochikade brought together religious leaders, diplomats and families of the victims to pay their respects. The Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjith, called on the President to fulfill the pledge made at Katuwapitia Church itself to deliver justice for the victims of the Easter Sunday terror attacks. He said, "The authorities are reminded of the promises given to those affected by the 2019 bombings." In the interest of clarity, we left his remarks undubbed.
මේ මහා ඝාතන රැල්ල හා විනාශය පිටුපස සිටින සියලුම බලවේග හා පුද්ගලයන් සොයා හඳුනා ගැනීම ව්‍යසනයට ගොදුරු වූ අයගේ පමණක් නොව එයින් බරපතල ලෙස වික්ෂිප්තයට පත් වූ අපගේද මේ රටේ සියලුම පුරවැසියන්ගේද අයිතියක් වන බවද එහිදී යුක්තිය සැමට සාධාරණව ඉටු කර දීම රට කරවන අයගේ යුතුයකම බවද කිව යුතුය. අද පවතින රජයට පෙර 2019 වසරේ සිට පිහිටි සියලුම රජයන් මේ මිනිමරු ප්‍රහාරයන්ගේ සත්‍යතාවය පසුපස යෑමට දැක් වූ වමනාව ඉතා අල්ප මට්ටමක පැවති බවක් බොහෝ දුරට ඒ ජනාධිපතිවරුන් හා පොලිස්පතිවරුන් මෙන්ම නීතිපතිවරුන්ද මේ පිළිබඳ විමර්ශන නොසලකා හරින්නට හෝ කඩාකප්පල් කිරීමට යොදාගත් උපාය මාර්ගයේ වූයේ තමන්ට රිසිවන නිගමන ලබාගත් හැකි කමිටු පත් කිරීම හා විටින් විට නැගෙන විරුද්ධතාවලට తాවකාලිකව පැලැස්තර අලවා ඒවාට පිළිතුරු නොදීමට උත්සාහ කිරීම මෙන්ම ප්‍රයෝගකාරී උප්පර වැට්ටි මගින් විමර්ශන බොඳ කර දැමීමය. එවැනි පසුබිමක තරාතිරම නොබලා මේ සිද්ධීන්ට සම්බන්ධ වූවන් ගෙන්වා හෝ තමන් බාරයට ගෙන හෝ ප්‍රශ්න කිරීමේ වරදක් නැත. අවශ්‍ය වන්නේ සත්‍ය සෙවීමයි. ඒ සඳහා අවංක ලෙස ක්‍රියාකාරී වන විට මේ කුමන්ත්‍රණවලට සම්බන්ධ වූ ඇතැම් දේශපාලනික බලවේග හුලක්කු වීම බලාපොරොත්තු විය හැකි දෙයකි. අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව කෙලින්ම හෝ වක්‍රව මෙම මිනිමැරුම් පිටුපස සිටියේ කවුරුන්දැයි සොයා බැලීම සඳහා අදාළ සියලු කරුණු සිය විමසුම් මැසට යොමු කළ යුතුය.
During the event, Maulavi Masook Safi Rusvi addressed the gathering before Cardinal Ranjith delivered his plea for legal accountability. Once again, we left his remarks undubbed.
දැන් මේ පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය විහිළුවක් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. විහිළුවක් විතරක් නෙමෙයි ව්‍යාපාරයකුත් වෙලා. කාලයක් යුද්ධය විකුණගෙන කෑවා. දැන් පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය විකුණගෙන කනවා. නැත්තම් ඒක තියලා දේශපාලනය කරනවා. පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය සම්බන්ධයෙන් මහජන අපේ මුදල් වැය කරලා ලක්ෂ ගණන් කෝටි ගණන් වේදම් කරලා වාර්තා කිහිපයක් හැදුවා. ඒ වගේම FBI ඇමරිකාව, AFP ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාව, නිව් ස්කොට්ලන්ඩ් යාඩ් එක්සත් රාජධානිය, ඉන්ටර්පෝල් වැනි විදේශ වාර්තා කිහිපයන් එළිදැක්වුවා. මගේ විශ්වාසය අනුව හැම වාර්තාවකම අවසානයේදී නිර්දේශ කිහිපයක් ලබා දීලා තිබුණා. හැබැයි අද වෙනකන් කිසිම නිර්දේශයක් ක්‍රියාත්මක නොකරපු නිසා තමයි මේක ව්‍යාපාරයක් හැටියට පත් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කොහොමද ඒක ව්‍යාපාරයක් හැටියට පත් වුනේ කියලා කිව්වොත් දැන් හැම එක්කෙනාම පොත් ලියන්න පටන් ගන්න තියෙනවා. මේක ඔබතුමාට කරන්න බැරි වුණොත් මේ පාලන සමයේදී මම හිතනවා මේක කියන්නත් ඕනේ. හැබැයි කියන්නත් නරකයි. මම දන්නේ මේ ඊට පස්සේ මට අවස්ථාවක් ලැබෙයිද කියලා. ඔබතුමා මේක හරියට ප්‍රයෝජනයක් හැටියට ගත්තේ නැත්නම් ඔබතුමාටත් දුවන්න වෙයි. ආයෙ නිකන් ලොවෙත් නැති
In his remarks, the Maulavi referred to those he said had turned the attack into a business through the volume of writing and commentary it has generated. It is, however, worth noting that major acts of international terrorism, including the September 11 attacks in the US, continue to generate books, academic studies and official inquiries more than 2 decades on. Events of this scale routinely attract long-form analysis across the world. In this backdrop, Gold FM spoke to 2 figures who have examined the Easter Sunday attacks in depth. Former Minister and author Udaya Gammampilla, who has recently released his own book on the subject, says his book In Search of the Mastermind of the Easter Sunday attacks sets out to examine every conspiracy theory in circulation, and he argues that no one has yet come forward to dispute his findings.
I have written a book titled In Search of Mastermind of the Easter Sunday Attack. In that book, I have addressed every single conspiracy theory prevailed with regard to Easter Sunday attack. The different conspiracy theories are mainly fabricated by present Director CID, Thani Abeysekara, and the Secretary to Ministry of Public Security, Avi Senviratne. I have explained in detail why they have fabricated this kind of conspiracy theories, as well as why others are accepted, embrace those theories. I have released this book 3 weeks ago. Today, nobody has pointed out so far my fact. Observations so conclusions are wrong. Therefore, if somebody is still talking about a mastermind behind the Easter Sunday attack, they should first come and attack my book, and they should prove that what I said in my book was wrong. Unfortunately, nobody has come forward to do that. It means they are just expressing their imagination without facts and evidence. Otherwise, they should have challenged my book. I have demolished every single conspiracy theory in that book.
The view is echoed by Professor Rohan Gunaratne, the author of Sri Lanka's Easter Sunday Massacre Lessons for the International Community. He has tracked the Easter Sunday investigation since its earliest days and walks through the full catalogue of investigations conducted into the attack, both within Sri Lanka and by international agencies.
Now, with regard to the Easter Sunday attack, there were 6 very important investigations. Of course, Justice Janak De Silva's report, the Presidential Commission, is the most comprehensive investigation. Other than that report, we have the Justice Imam report. And Justice Imam report investigated into asylum seekers' allegations. Then another report is the Parliamentary Select Committee report. It is not as strong as the Presidential Commission into Easter Sunday attack by Justice Janak. Then there's another Magistrate Alvis who has done a report. And then there is the Interpol report. Interpol has conducted a very deep investigation. And then there is the report by the Australian Federal Police. And finally, there's a report by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, where the chief of the investigation received an international award.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
Minister of Transport Vimal Ratnaik inaugurated the pilot low-flow bus project for individuals with special needs at the Markumura Multimodal Transport Centre. 10 air-conditioned buses specially designed for wheelchair accessibility enter service under the first phase of this initiative. Each vehicle accommodates 80 passengers with 33 seats and operates every 40 minutes between Markumura and Petta and Markumura to Kadavatha. Former State Minister Premalal Jayasekara was arrested by the police in Nuwara over an incident involving alleged criminal intimidation and threats made with a firearm during a clash between 2 groups. Police stated that the suspect was taken into custody following complaints that an individual had been threatened with a firearm, adding that the license for the weapon in question had already expired at the time of the incident. He is expected to be produced before court tomorrow.
Now for some news in brief.
A sacred sapling from the Jayashree Mahabodhi was ceremoniously presented in Anuradhapura to a delegation including Venerable Panyakara, who plans to take it to the US as a part of an international World Peace Walk.
The business news on Gold FM.
The Colombo Post was mixed today, with the all-share price index gaining 55.45 points to end the day at 22,625.48 points. Meanwhile, S&P/SL 20 dropped 0.33 points to end the day at 6,222.46 points. Turnover was 3.6 billion rupees.
International news on Gold FM.
The United States Pentagon reports that American forces boarded a sanctioned oil tank overnight in the Indo-Pacific region to disrupt illicit networks supporting Iran. The US Department of War confirms it conducted a maritime interdiction of the stateless vessel, Tiffany, without incident. In a statement shared on social media, officials say international waters provide no refuge for sanctioned vessels providing material support to Tehran. However, the BBC also reports ship tracking data showing the tanker made a sharp turn in the early hours of Tuesday and currently sits roughly 700 kilometers southeast of Sri Lanka. Marine traffic data indicates that Tiffany, which carries a capacity of 300,000 tons, remains loaded with cargo. The vessel and its linked Indian shipping company currently face American sanctions for their alleged ties to Iranian trade. Now, according to marine traffic data, which was also verified by BBC, the Tiffany departed the Gulf region on 10th April and made a brief stop near the Sri Lankan port of Galle on 18th April prior to the interception. While the tank originally estimated an arrival in Singapore by Sunday, location data confirms the US military continues global maritime enforcement efforts against the vessel.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
Jio Studios and the Mumbai Film Company have debuted the first trailer for Raja Shivaji, a sprawling historical epic depicting the life of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. The film, which marks Ritesh Deshmukh's directorial debut alongside his performance in the titular role, is scheduled for a global release on the 1st of May in both Marathi and Hindi.
Sports news on Gold FM.
Formula One has made a series of rule changes to address concerns about the new engine regulations that were introduced for this season. The move addressed the complex energy management systems of the new power units, which feature an even split between internal combustion and electrical power. Drivers, including four-time world champion Max Verstappen, have argued the heavy reliance on battery management was overshadowing racing skill, with Verstappen suggesting the shift could influence his long-term future in the sport. The new amendments seek to refine engine operations, allowing drivers to push for maximum performance during qualifying while narrowing the significant speed gaps seen during recent Grand Prix. And that's it for tonight from the news desk. I'm Afrin Durasoma for Gold FM News. Have a great evening.
Sit back,